bro. Like, this is amazing.
I'm trying to figure out what the difference is.
I don't know.
Oreo and cookie cream is the same thing.
But they're using a different cookie though. Maybe I should have got Oreos too. But yours look more white than mine. Mine's like
well,
chocolate.
Welcome to another episode of Paid in Passion, where we let our passions work for you. Today we have my guy, my great friend, Ammishaddai. Ammishaddai, how are you?
Hey man, I'm living.
Yep.
What's up, audience? How y'all doing? I'm a big fan of the show, by the way. I always watch it when he posts it on LinkedIn. So I know to those who are watching, like I was, you're like thinking, man, how am I gonna make this passion my life and everything? So I'm just honored to be a part of it.
I really appreciate that.
Oh, snap! That's awkward.
Okay. So could you share with us the passion that's paying you right now, or just the passion that you have right now?
So I'm a motivational speaker. I speak. I love speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I'm very shy.
Wow. Okay.
So growing up, I was always a shy kid. Shy to talk to people. Shy to talk to teachers, girls, you name it. And my dad's a minister. He's a pastor, and he was like, "Yo, no son of mine's gonna be shy." I'm like, "Dad, like I just don't like talking." And so, I'll glory to God. He really pushed me to start speaking. So my own birthday party, I'm giving a speech, telling everybody thank you.
Okay.
My brother's birthday party, I'm giving a speech. Like everyone, like he always just pushed us to be out there, go up front, volunteer to say this, do scripture reading at church, like etc. And I think over time, it just kind of built that natural skill of speaking. And there's just something that happened eventually when I realized speaking, of course, you can communicate certain ideas and thoughts and logic. Excuse me, but also you can be able to kind of connect with people, and you see the emotion and the draw. Like it goes from funny to sad to laughter. It's amazing. Maybe I have an obsession with stand-up comedians because they do it a lot, and there's like an art that comes with it. But anyways, I just love speaking. So I love the nerves. I love the jitters. I've been blessed to speak at a couple places. I spoke at Chick-fil-A in 2020.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to Canada next week to speak at a youth retreat, and so I'll be gone for that. And then me and my brother headed to Bahamas as well to do like a speaking engagement. He's performing too in October. So really blessed by that. And so eventually I want to do this full time. I want to just be speaking at schools, businesses, churches, getting paid and just able to do that. That's what I say that I want. But it's like learning how to get there is the tough part. Because you might see me on social media, oh man, things are going good for him. And again, it's like dry spells and different seasons, you know, so it just all depends sometimes.
That's all part of the journey of, the journey of success that we're trying to get to. There's going to be the ups, the downs, the dry spells, the heavy blessings at a time.
Yep.
And then we'll go through those times again, the dry spells where it's like, do I really want to do this? Should I go back? Should I do what I wanted to do before or anything like that? So just speaking of, since we're on it, just the different places that you're going and speaking to, how were you able to get these opportunities to, be invited to go to Canada or Bahamas or things like that? Or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, you'll be tired of hearing stories like this, but referrals. Referrals. I'll say a lesson turned into a talk. Don't despise the days of humble beginnings. Every opportunity you get, whether it's speaking at church, speaking to your audience on social media, even this, you give it your best.
Right.
Even for someone like you making this podcast that's helping and blessing people. I forgot the guy's name, but there's a story of him making podcasts and motivational videos like this. And he only had like 4 views, and it was like it was his mom and a couple of other people.
Yeah.
Well, his trainer was watching the video, and his trainer somehow, I don't know the connection, but she was on a plane next to Oprah. Oprah's leaning over. What you watching? I'm watching my friend do XYZ. Oprah watched the small clip of his video and said, "Yo, I'd like him to have a show on my own network." And just like that, he was on. So he said, and I was thinking about that today, actually. It's not about how many people follow you. It's the type of people that follow you. You know what I'm saying? It's not about how many people you have in your corner. It's who you have in your corner, because that goes a long way. And so every opportunity I've gotten, by the grace of God, I try to give it my best, be intentional with it, whether it pays or it doesn't pay. And every so often people are like, man, I really love that. Or they record it, and it's just kind of connections and etc. So Canada is an awesome opportunity. I'm a little bit biased because I have a girlfriend. She lives in Canada. And so she's able to kind of connect with some people over there, but I kind of met them, and then now having this opportunity. But he went and checked my social media, checked my other stuff, was hearing other good news about what I did when I was speaking at other youth retreats here in Georgia and around, thus, elevating me to be able to get that opportunity. and stuff. And I'd love to tell the Chick-fil-A story if there's time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. July 2019. It's hot. I'm interning at the Mayor of Athens office. It's not paid. I have an assistantship starting in August, but I'm not getting paid yet. It's July.
Right.
And so money's tight. I'm praying. I'm like, God, please, like, open the door for me. Could you make a way? Because your boy's hungry. And I only got $5 that I'm willing to spend for lunch. And so I go around and I'm like, $5 foot long, like Subway, you know what I'm saying? Like I can go to Subway. So I go to Subway and they're like, that's $11.97, which is like a chips a drink for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, that's not $5.
Yeah, it's not $5 no more.
So I was like, damn, what am I gonna do? So I'm looking around. Something says to me, check your phone. And I check my phone. Bank account still zero. Cash App, nothing. And someone said, check in your Chick-fil-A app. So I click my Chick-fil-A app. Congratulations, you have a free Chick-fil-A Deluxe. And I said, God, you a bad man. Like this is amazing. So I'm excited. I'm walking down Chick-fil-A line. I show them my phone. They scan it. It doesn't work. They scan it again. It doesn't work. She's like, don't worry. I'll bring it right out for you. So I said, okay, bet. And then something told me, why don't you just try ordering through the phone? So I ordered it through the phone, and I got 2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, Josh, for free. Like, this is amazing. I'm like, wow, God, like I prayed. You gave it to me. I'm just so happy and excited. So as I'm walking back to my office with 2 Chick-fil-A Deluxe sandwiches, I remember 2 grilled sandwich, someone's sitting on the bench, and we caught eyes. I'm like, nope. And I just kind of keep going because I already felt like I knew what was going to happen. And I felt like my spirit, I felt like I was like, no, go back. I'm like, no, I'm not going to go back. I don't got time. 2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, barely enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, just right. I'm not going to do what you're going to make me do.
Right.
And so basically I went back to him and I said, hey, did you eat today? And he was like, no, I didn't. I said, okay. And I wanted to be like, dang, that's crazy, my boy. So let me go ahead and pray for you real quick. You know, but I knew what I had to do. And so I gave him one of the Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And he said, thank you. I appreciate it. I was like, yeah, no problem. And I walked away. I didn't feel good. There was no one with a secret camera like, hey, sir, let me give you $100. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You passed it. So no, it's nothing. I was just walking sad and upset. And I felt like God said to me, son, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to hear all this stuff. But he said, you asked me for a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I gave you one.
Yeah.
But I gave you 2 because that guy on the bench doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have a Chick-fil-A app. Right. And I knew I could give you 2 to bless him with 1.
Right.
Just as much as you're my son, he's also my son too.
Right.
And sometimes the blessings that we're given, Josh, is bigger than us.
Yeah.
It's not just for us. It's like it's for those that surround us. So I got that lesson. I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I had no idea. That was happened in July. It's the month of October. My assistantship is having a luncheon, and they're honoring and thanking a donor who's giving money to their department. It's Chick-fil-A. They asked me, hey, would you like to give the invocation to this luncheon? So I give the invocation. Who's in the crowd? The CEO at the time, Dan Cathy. And so I give it. Everyone, claps and everything like that. It goes on. At the end, I'm just shaking hands, trying to say hello. And he tells me, listen, I loved your speech. We would love for you to come down to Chick-fil-A in our corporate office to speak to us. I'm thinking he's just joking. He's like, no, I'm very serious. Look, here's my assistant. Tell him I sent you. Let's get this set up. So serious. And then they reached out to me and they said, hey, any Monday of the year you can speak. And thank God I chose the first Monday of 2020 because, as you know, the pandemic was happening. I had no idea. Yeah. And so all glory to God, that was a blessing and everything. And what story do you think I told them at Chick-fil-A?
The story about the guy on the bench? Same
exact story. And then at that moment, it was a full circle moment because I learned God was like, I was waiting on your obedience to see if what you were going to do. And how often do we miss on our opportunities to speak at Chick-fil-A, to get this, to get that because of our obedience? It might be tied up to something that seems small, insignificant, but it goes a long way. And so I don't mind sharing that they paid me to speak. They told me you only can speak for 20 minutes, like 20 minutes sharp, like can't go a minute over. So I spoke for 19 minutes and I was done. I was out of there. And they paid me $500, bro, for just 20 minutes of my time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a smooth, come on, bro.
Yeah. Like,
and so, again, I had enough to buy me 500 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, And so, again, if I was being selfish, if I was being arrogant in that time, I believe God would have forgave me, but I probably would have missed out on an opportunity. I wouldn't have that story. And I got paid $500 for that one time at Chick-fil-A. I've told the same story several places, and every time I tell it, I get paid, and it's, again, the same effect. And so sometimes, again, we don't know what story or what's going to happen if we just, kind of stay consistent. So I just want to throw that in there, but that's how I got to speak at
Chick-fil-A.
I
don't got no money for the story. But...
no, it's going to come because it's invested,
That's good. So what I want to ask now is, what kind of child were you? You said you were shy, and I'm trying to get from, there's a lot of kids who are probably watching this, or even young adults who are, shy, but shy shouldn't be mistaken for a loss of words. You can have a lot of words, you can have a great vocabulary, you can be great at enunciation, but you're just that shy person. So, how were you able to really break away from that shyness, or what kind of child were you, and what kind of child did you become that helped you with this experience?
It's a great question. Um, you know, I still am shy. So it's not like, oh, now I'm no longer shy. Here's
Mm-hmm.
these 5 steps to follow. It's not
Uh-huh.
like that.
Oh
I
shoot.
think you've heard it before, becoming comfortable being uncomfortable,
Right.
putting yourself out there. Imagining the worst thing that can happen and just being like, oh, it's okay if I go up there and I mess up. If I go up there and freeze up, what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll be fine. Things will move on. Like nothing's gonna happen. That and it never goes the way you think it is. It's never gonna be as bad as you think it is. And so just practicing like putting yourself and just saying, hey, how you
Mm-hmm.
doing today? It could be at the gas station. We always see that happen. You pumping gas in your car, you see someone, you give a head nod or
Yeah.
just smile. It's like, hey, how's your day
Mm-hmm.
going? That's like practicing already saying
Mm-hmm.
hello. And they're like, oh, this guy's saying hi. And you
Breaking those
never know.
barriers, breaking those
Break those
barriers
barriers. And
within. Okay.
that's how you network too, because sometimes you don't know who people are.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a baby shower of a friend of mine. She was having a girl and went there, sat at a random table, didn't really know anybody. I said, hello, my name is Amisha. I
Mm-hmm.
just put myself out there. Two ladies at that table. One was a director of a daycare that had about like 300 something kids. Another one is in charge of like some other large youth event. I told him about my speaking service, like, yo, let me get your card, let me get information. Would love to have you, would love to connect you, refer you. Again, closed mouths
Yeah.
don't
Don't
get
get fed.
fed. So sometimes, again, you have to like, yes, you can be shy, but you also have to say, I feel like some ET would say, the pain of not getting or arriving at your goal has to be so greater that you are willing to go through the uncomfortability of
Right.
being
You
shy.
said E.T.?
I feel like something he would say. Eric Thomas,
Oh, okay. I
hip
thought you
hop,
talking
yeah,
about
the
extraterrestrial. I
extraterrestrial.
was
Nah,
like,
nah, nah,
phone home.
nah, man. you know,
Okay.
but I think that's just something that you have to realize. Like your pain for where you are has to be so great. Like you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I don't want to be like this anymore. Like I need more. Like I want to get there. And once you say that, you push through.
Yeah.
And so if she's pretty enough and you want to get her number, like, man, but I'm
Yeah.
scared of being a lame or this, you just gotta go
Yeah.
for it.
You just miss out on the opportunity.
Exactly, because you'll never know what
Yeah.
happened. I got a story for that one too. I was in high school, went to Brewster's ice cream, not too far from here, and just was getting ice for my family. And then the cashier register lady came out, what you want? And I was like, I want what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she was pretty
I
and
want
fine.
you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. And I was just trying to be nice. Oh yeah, can I get this? And I think maybe she kind of could tell or whatever. And at the end, she was like being very nice. So anything else you need, like whatever, like
Yeah.
giving me an opportunity that I could
Yeah.
say, go ahead, write your number on this
Yeah.
napkin for me.
Yeah.
But I was too scared. I
Yeah.
was too shy. So I never said anything,
Mm-hmm.
And now not saying, oh, this was my wife or something else
Right.
like that,
Yeah.
because you get older. But in that moment, I've had a lot of experiences like that where
Mm-hmm.
I could have stepped up, I could have said something, could have done something, but I didn't. So to conclude all that, if you're shy, practice being uncomfortable, practice just saying hello, smiling at people, practice just, giving small speeches. If it's at your birthday, at a friend's birthday, like a toast, like don't worry, just go and do it.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, like the Wright brothers who made the airplane that we know across the world, I mean, like they get credit for it, but they failed thousands of times.
Right.
Like they was like throwing that thing and it made no sense. But eventually they did it, and now they forever changed the world that you can cross from here to London. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like to like take a boat to cross. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but that
For
was
months.
that was the norm, man. And he just made a plane that everyone took it and built upon it.
Right.
And before you know it, things happen so much faster. And so again, I think it's just like be willing to fail, but as you're failing, you're like failing forward, and
Right.
you're getting better with your speech, you're getting better with your enunciation, you're getting better with your pacing. And again, now when people see me like, well, like you're shy, like I'm like, yeah, I'm still shy,
Yeah.
but I just learned to kind of keep pushing myself past it, and
Yeah.
now I can get paid, for it.
People didn't actually know. Like, I'm a shy person. But
Yeah.
I'm like how you were saying, like I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. So like within like we want to go dogs, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even like throughout college, I did a whole bunch of different things, and even while I'm doing it, like even while I'm on stage or I'm doing something, like within, I'm so uncomfortable. but I just got comfortable with being uncomfortable to the point of just like I'll go do something and I don't even know who I'm talking to, who's in the crowd, who's listening, because I'm just doing it. I'm just like at this point, I just came to the point of just like I just have to do it. Like again, even with these like interviews that I'm doing now,
Yep.
I literally just reach out to you guys. Like I would reach out, I talk, I'm like, you are you interested in doing this? And even while I'm asking, and even while like I'm interviewing, like I'm
Nervous.
uncomfortable,
Yeah.
like I'm nervous, like I'm still trying to figure out like how I'm, how I really want to organize this, how I want to start these things off and things like that. But it's just like you kind of just have to do it, or else it just won't happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one else is waiting. The time isn't waiting for you to catch on. Like you have to catch on when you're ready, and until then, like again, there's opportunities that are just unfortunately passing you by, and something that a big prayer for me now is just like God help me not to pass by opportunity that you have for me. Like
Exactly.
you can present something to me, like you can literally show me a box
Yeah.
with a key with a lock on it, and I saw a key somewhere else. I was like, I'm gonna just leave it on the ground. I
Mm.
walk by it. Now I see a box that could have had $1 million in it, but now
Mm.
I missed the opportunity to pick that key up.
Mm-hmm.
Or the key was, at the library, and I knew I was supposed to go to the library to study, but I didn't go to the library anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
now the key's there, the money's there, and I'm here. Missed the opportunity. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just all about opportunities. I've gotten a lot of things, not even based off of the things that I know. Literally, the opportunity was there. I introduced myself. I networked. They liked what I was talking about, and then they gave me an opportunity to do something else. So, um, the key word to everything that you're saying is opportunity, and I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
So now this is my next question. Following into this is that so what were your interests as a child? Because I know like interests career wise and hobby wise, because I
Mm-hmm.
do know that public speaking is one of those careers that obviously people always see people doing, but I feel like it's not a career that someone who's 10 is saying, when I grow up I want to be a public speaker. They're saying something else, and then how careers and jobs and life goes. You have your goal on this, then something shifts your focus based off of the things that you're good at, and the things that you're good at and the things that you like to do. You're good at speaking and you like to speak. That's what you want to be, a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
But when you were a child, what were those things that you did want to do that you probably still want to do now, or that ventured off into what you're doing now?
Yeah. Do you make edits while we're doing this, or
No.
it's just like running? So if I
Yeah.
left something in the car,
Oh, I mean, you can go get it.
okay, it's
Yeah.
fine. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Sorry.
This commercial is brought to you by Cookout. Oreo milkshakes, or I guess different from cookie and cream milkshakes. I have an Oreo. Here's the cookies and cream, and somehow they're both different. But now we're back from that commercial.
Thank you so much. um, so when I was younger, I wanted to become a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but I just didn't know what it looked like. I think I wanted to go into politics and to be a mayor, uh, be a governor, because it just seemed, when you're younger, cool, and the red and blue and white seemed nice, and it just kind of seemed like this big deal. Again, not knowing, being innocent, and not knowing like there's so much that includes with that. I thought of also just kind of, being a minister too. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a pastor because my dad's a pastor
Mm-hmm.
too. This is just like kind of thinking. Flirted with the idea of being a doctor. My dad was pushing me, oh, be a neurosurgeon. Like you could look at the brain. I think he was influenced by the Ben Carson story when he heard about the successful surgery that he did. And so there was just all these different ideas and everything. And you're right. When you're young, you don't know. I'm gonna be a motivational speaker because you don't know that can be a thing, and you're just kind of figuring out. As I got older, went to college, I got my bachelor's in economics and political science, got my master's in public administration, and so my vision was like, yeah, I'm gonna do like economic policy. I'm gonna help out communities, economic growth and development. Like for me, it was weird, but the word economic growth development just sounded cool, and it was like, yeah, like we're building jobs. And
Yeah.
I think the 2009 recession honestly made a role in that, because I was thinking to myself like, man, is it during that recession, it was all about jobs and like, it just always seems to be an issue around like the country and politics. So I was like, well, if I know how to make jobs or, create jobs, like that would be a good thing. So that was kind of my mind was thinking and leading towards. And then the pandemic happened, and it was like, well, whatever you thought you want to do, it's not opportunity.
Literally,
Bro,
literally.
I was a finalist for a job in Broward County, Florida, in March, and I was bought the ticket, the hotel, planning to go there for the interview, and the lady, the pandemic's happening. I'm kind of concerned about going anymore. The lady says, "Yep, we're still having an interview. We'll see you on Friday." And then the next day I see on the news of Florida County is like increasing in COVID cases and things like that. So I call back. I say, hey, I don't think I feel comfortable going anymore. Like this is some really crazy stuff. And thank God And so she said, but I didn't talk to her. I talked to the secretary. Oh yeah, I'll leave a note. I'll let you know and stuff. No word, no callback, nothing. I don't know what happened. I hope that they're okay health wise, but not even like we regret to inform you, sorry, or we'll do it virtually. It was just like a ghosted, even to this day. And so that kind of like paused me. But again, as I'm on this trajectory of working in local government, working in politics, maybe there's another thumping of my heart. There's another passion. And it was just like speaking, man. Again, I spoke at my churches prior, spoke at some graduations, and just that excitement. Like, it's hard to explain it, but maybe if you're a fellow speaker, you get it. It's like you're in your bag, you're in your element. Like, this is like, you're like, man, this is what I was created to do. And it's just kind of fun. It's cool. Like, it's just, you enjoy it, whatever the scenario and the issue is. I mean, it's amazing. So I just love doing that. And so then I started doing research. Okay, well, can you get paid to speak and XYZ, and how much do you charge, and etc. I was just like kind of learning and going along with it until I learned, oh wow, like this is actual profession, and you can actually do a lot of, so just start growing and expanding, and that was like really amazing eventually. So all that to be said, I kind of like arrived there, fell into, oh, this is my passion that I want to do full time. But again, as a child or even as a person now, if you don't know what your passion is, like, don't be nervous or scared, because you got to be like, hey, there's a time, there's a season, there's a reason, and there's a timeline as well. Sometimes certain things aren't revealed to you. Again, I bring a lot of religious backgrounds. I hope that's okay for the audience. But
it's okay for me. So it's
okay
for them.
Jesus was 30 years old when his ministry started. So we don't hear from him only he was born, and then he's 12 years old, he says something, and then you don't hear from him for 18 years of silence. So like, what was he doing? Like, we don't know if he had a girlfriend. We don't know if he was struggling with bullies. Like, we don't know. And maybe the Bible's intentional about keeping silent on that or whatever it may be. But you can also look at it as a preparation that he took 18 years to prepare for those 3 years, because he lived only 30 to 33. But that changed the world forever. And so it tells us a lot. And I'm struggling with this currently. Is that our generation, man, we're microwave. We want things instant and right now. And I want that too. Like, I want to be booked and busy. I want to be there. Like, I just want to do it. I don't care how long it took you. I just want to be there now. You know what I'm saying? I like
same situation.
Exactly. I like what you got. I want to be there now. Like, even E.T., Eric Thomas, he talks about his journey of sleeping in cars, of being homeless and getting to where he got to. I'm like, yeah, that's cute, bro. I just want to be there. I want to be at the mountaintop.
Great story.
Yeah, but I think we forget there is a process. There is a timeline that is going on that we have no idea of. But when the time comes, it will happen, and you will arrive there, and you'll get that Peabody, or you'll get that Grammy, or you'll become whoever it is. But we have to go through this time of being unknown. And to close it out, again, sometimes I've learned it's a blessing being under the radar. Because when you're on the radar, like when I was at UGA, knew a couple people and everything. But once I became president, there was not one place I could go on campus just to kind of be myself. All eyes were on me. People recognized me. I remember going into Bolton or going to Stone, like, just wanted to sit down because I had a long day. Exactly. And I couldn't. Oh, hey, Ammishaddai, can I sit with you? Because I was the guy like, oh, yeah, I could sit with the student body president. He's so friendly. And sometimes sitting there, like, smiling and talking. And I'm like, bro, I am so exhausted. I just, like, leave me alone. And so, again, enjoy those moments where you're a nobody, where you can go into Walmart and shop and no one's stopping you. Because when you hear from people like, the celebrities, Shaquille O'Neal talks about, like, just not being able to kind of be a random person. I mean, he puts on costumes. You can still see through his costumes. Like, nah, that's you,
You're
bro.
Huge.
Exactly, And so, again, I just think that's just something that we don't realize. Like Obama, before he became the Obama, regular dude, now can't go anywhere. Michelle Obama talks about she used to love to pull down her windows. Now she can't because of security risk. You know, it's just like certain things you don't realize you're giving up by becoming that person. So you really want to take that time and be intentional of enjoying each step in each part. Right. So yeah.
So even with it, being intentional with your steps and, you know, just going through the whole process, again, coming back to the spiritual side too, and however else someone else wants to, you know, translate it, it's like God is preparing us for what he has. And in order to be able to be the president of the United States, you have to prepare throughout. Typically, you know, we just had some things where like there's usually an order, but it's like, yeah, how can you take care of something big if you can't take care of something small? You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
It's just like, are you ready to? Again, we have all these athletes who do lose so much money. Like, I can't fathom losing $3 million. Like, being broke, being homeless after being rewarded $3 million. Like, $3 million taking care of literally my lifetime and my family.
Yeah.
But it's like, excuse me, you have to be prepared to know what to do with that much money. Like, I can't give a 16-year-old a Maserati and
exactly.
Not be surprised. You know, be surprised if they crash it. Like, they weren't prepared to drive that. Exactly. You know? But so it's like different things. It's like, all right, gotta say, let me see what you do with this. All right, let me give you a little bit more. Let me see what you do with this. All right, let me see what you do with this. All right, so now you're going through your battles, you're going through your hard times. So it's like you're literally prepping yourself, like athletes working out. Like, you literally can't just be like me and say, okay, let me go be a linebacker. Like, no, you have to prepare yourself. Yeah. And it's again, the same thing, like microwave, like especially like with comparing yourself to other people, seeing what other people have at the same time. You see that this person has this much money now, but this person's been working on this for the last 10 years, but you just don't know that. You just see what they have now. So it's like, even within our own personal journeys, it's like people will come up to us and say, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you're doing this. And to ourselves, it's just like, in my head at least, I'm just like, you have no idea what I'm going through right now. Like, I'm on my last limb right now, but to you, you think I'm all great. I'm doing such great things in life. It's just like, I have $1,000 to my name. I'm trying to get a job right now, you know. So just so many things. That's one thing about like comparisons and things like that, and something that I try really not to do, because you just don't know where people are in their lives and how long someone has been doing what they're doing. So again, just going through that preparation of going through that preparation to be ready for what God has for you. Exactly. Like, another thing too, something that my pastor says, and I tell my friends this too. Yeah, it's like something that it's one of those things. Like, be careful when you pray for this. Yeah. Patience. Yeah. Yes, you want to be patient. You're not just gonna become patient randomly. Nah. No, you're gonna have to be tried. You're gonna have to be tried. Like, your patience is gonna have to be tried in order to become more patient. Within yourself. Like, I used to be a very impatient person. Like, you do something I don't like, I'm popping off. I have a comment. But again, I'll be praying, God, make me more patient. But just like during those times, being intentional too, I have to realize, like, all right. Josh, this is the time for you to become more. This is the time that's testing your patience. Be more patient. Another time, be more patient. And it became to a point, I'm now going through things in my life where I'm forced to be patient. I was a high school teacher, a young high school teacher. You have to be patient, like, or else you're out of a job. So it's again, God, I'm praying to God, help me be more patient. He's like, okay, you're a high school teacher. You have to be patient now. So it's just like, wow, okay. So my test, in order to know if I'm more patient or not, is my job right now. It's like through that process, I became more patient because my patience was tested. Yeah. If that makes sense. So it's just like so many different things. You have to be prepared. So like right now, I'm again through that foggy time. Is like, I feel like, and I know that I have the qualifications, I have the experience for this, but I don't have it. But now, instead of me being like, I'm a failure. Nothing's gonna be great. It's like, all right, God is preparing me for something, and like I have to like I literally have no choice but to like stay faithful. Like it makes you excited too. It's like, all right, yes, I'm going through stuff right now. Everything's not perfect right now, but whatever I'm waiting for will come when I'm ready for it.
Yep.
But I gotta like not stop working.
Yeah.
Like you don't just say, okay, I'm looking for a job and
Wait
just
for it to
wait
come.
for a job to come. No, you're gonna keep applying, you keep talking, keep networking,
Yeah.
keep going different places, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, some random person that you talk to on the street, oh, you like this?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the CEO of this.
Yeah.
I like how you talk. I like the way you move.
Yeah.
Come work for me.
Yeah.
Literally, things has happened for me like that with internships and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like for people who are, struggling on keeping consistent or staying consistent. People are struggling with, getting started at any age.
Yeah.
It's like you have to do it though. Like the opportunity, if the opportunity is there, take advantage of the opportunity. And don't just stop because it's slow right now, or don't just stop because there's nothing going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep going. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
You have to keep going because this interest will spark this interest. This idea will spark this. Next thing you know, $1 million idea.
Exactly. I think a key thing I want to say on what you said is having the trust that, again, on this Christian perspective, you believe in God, that in all things He's working together for your good. So even the waiting, even the losses, even whatever it is, He's going to use it. He doesn't make it happen to you, but He allows it to happen because He's like, oh, I know how I can use this to help Ammishaddai, to help Josh, to help this person get to where they need to go. And so I think that that's the part that we don't like to trust because it's like, why haven't I blown up? Like, why is my song not #1 on Spotify or etc.? Like, why can't I just be there? And again, throughout history, we've noticed every single person, even though if you assume that, well, you were born rich or you were born with money in your mouth, we've learned that it was actually a struggle and a journey to get there. Like it doesn't matter. And even if you are born into riches and wealth, you then have to practice and struggle to keep it.
Right.
Because now, I think there was someone saying like, the poor man sleeps better than the rich man. Because yeah, the poor man can say, I could need more money, but he's learned to be content with what he has as he's searching. The rich man, you think is fine, but he's like, I got to keep it because I don't want to lose it. And you think about legacy, think about all this stress. So sometimes they say more money, more problem. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd love to see that myself. But I've learned already going from college where, bro, I made $400 a month as an RA. I don't know if you did, but like that was it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money in college, bro. I mean,
yo,
I bought me some, you know what I'm saying, Chick-fil-A here and there. I was saving it, so I didn't splurge, but like that was a lot of money. And then when I was in graduate school, I was making $800 a month. Bro, now I can't even imagine
making $800 a month.
You know, and that's the reality for some people, but it's also like, again, I get more money, so I'm like, oh, I'm good now, but no, because there's more taxes. I'm paying my own health insurance. I'm paying my car note. I'm helping this. I'm doing that. And now I'm like, wow, so I feel like I'm getting the same money that I was in college, except there's a little bit more stress added to it. And I think the same thing if you become like a millionaire. It's like, yeah, we all would love to be a millionaire, but bro, I don't know if you've seen the taxes that they have to pay. Like they were like, oh, LeBron is gonna make $40 million this year. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money. Then they show you add the taxes, that falls down to $20 million. I'm like, what, 20? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I get why the rich is kind of upset about taxes. But again, you can kind of see like, bro, it's just not always what you think. And so I think the key thing, like if you're listening, I hope it's not like repetitive and you're annoyed, but it's the truth. Like you're saying, bro, it's like knowing that you can't rush certain things at parts of your life. And you are becoming a beautiful story. And lastly, if you rush to get to the end, that's the end.
Right.
Once you get there, it's the end.
Yeah.
Meaning like, God forbid, death, or even well, you've gotten there. And then now it's like you're wondering, well, what do I do with my life now? And so again, it's not really the destination. It's just the journey. It's like what happened throughout the journey. Because it's like when you watch a movie, if they just play the movie for you and just show you the end where everything's fine, like how would you feel?
Yeah.
Like even to those watching the movie, like we like to see, bro, how, like sometimes I like watching the Marvel ones.
Yeah.
And bro, when Thanos was beating them, I was like, bro, they ain't no way they gonna beat this guy. Like I know they win in the end, but I just did not see it.
Even when you know how the story ends,
bro,
you still want to see the journey.
When you're watching it, you're like, there's no way. Or even like your favorite superhero, like them training and becoming better. Like, oh, it's one thing that you just always love seeing, like the Karate Kid. I like the newer one with Will Smith's son, Jaden. Like seeing him getting beat up after, I'm like, bro, they were whooping that boy's butt, but then he got stronger and one. Like it's just the process and the journey. And so for you, you're making your own movie. And I'm not saying, oh, you're making God happy as he's watching popcorn and looking at us, but at the same time, it's like you are looking back on your life one day. You know, hopefully not a nursing home, but if it's a nursing home, or maybe with your kids, you know, in your mansion or wherever you are, and you're gonna think back to something like, man, like, did I have fun? Did I enjoy myself? There were probably some dumb decisions I shouldn't have done, but there were some things that I did that added to that experience or gave me this level of edge or this level of etc. So yeah.
And you gotta remember also, like, your journey isn't. Well, this isn't like fact or anything. This like opinion, but like your journey isn't just for you. Like you go through things to also help your friends, help your family, help your kids, help people that you don't even know. Like the same way. And that's kind of why I like doing these interviews, and that's kind of like what triggered me to do it, because there's a point in my life what I wanted to do. I'm asking people for advice. I'm asking people for network, and no one can help me. No one knew one single healthcare consultant. No one could give me any advice on it.
Wow.
No one can help me. Like I was really, like even when I'm searching for stuff, it's just like, all right, you guys are just telling me a whole bunch of words, but you guys aren't telling me anything. Like y'all just say, get a degree, apply to this, and you got it. Like no, I need
step
something personal. I need something personal. I need something a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
So like, even with these interviews, it's like I love it so much because now when people ask me for different things, it's just like, oh, I know somebody for that. Like your journey isn't just for you, but like now when I meet someone who wants to be a motivational speaker, I'm like, oh, not only do I have a video for you to go watch, my own advice for you, someone else that can tell you what they've been through. Like I just have so many resources for this person. I was just like, I don't want, especially when it comes to like passions and just life goals, I don't want anyone to be like, I'm left out. Like there's just nothing for me.
Yeah.
There's no one who gets me. There's no one who understands me.
Yeah.
And again, we do have like our spiritual side, and just like God does understand us.
Yep.
But at the same time, as humans, we do want something that's more tangible. You know, it's not always oh, I'm having trouble, and I just say, oh, someone says, I want to be a motivational speaker, and I say, okay, I'll pray for you. You know, prayer does help, but now someone also wants works. Like, do you have any connections? Do you have anything for me to work with? So at the same time, I'm bringing in both. Like, I'm definitely still going to pray for you because you may want to do this, but you're not actually called to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let me give you the resources that you need to actually see, all right, so does it seem like I'm aligned with this? Oh, wow. They're going to be like, oh, wow, okay. I just realized I don't like talking. Mm-hmm. They could have thought they want us to motivate, but they don't want us to motivate in big crowds. You know, you could be a small crowd. You know, you can motivate in different areas. It's like people saying that they want to be a doctor because they want to help people. I feel like that's kind of the worst reason to be a doctor because
you can do a lot of other things.
Everything help. Like there's so many jobs that help people. It's just like, okay, but you don't like blood. You like to help people, but you don't like blood, but you want to be a doctor. Like you see, the Venn diagram is in Venn diagramming.
Not the Venn diagram.
It's not Venn diagramming, as they say. So it's just like so many different, just so many different things that come into when it comes to passion, and careers and things like that.
Yeah.
To go back, I do want to move forward, but just to go back real quick.
Yeah.
Something that even how you were describing speaking, you were saying, I don't know if you can, you were saying, you were describing it.
Yep.
And then you said, I don't know if you guys can understand it though. I feel like that's the thing about passions. Like what I'm doing right now is I'm like very passionate. This is my passion. And it's hard for me to describe to some people. Sometimes like, they're like, you just drive around interviewing people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, like I like doing this. And I feel like that's what a passion is like.
That way.
If you'll do it for free, it's probably your passion. Like, right? Of course, no one wants to do something for free forever.
Exactly.
If you can do it for free now, when you're getting paid to do it, you're going to go even harder. Yeah. You're going to go even harder. And like most of the times, especially if you're passionate about it, you got to do it like you get paid to do it. Like you can't do it like I said that word. It's so wrong. I forgot the word. You can't do it lazily. You can't do it any type of way.
Lackadaisical.
Yeah, I said lack, and I was like, I forgot the word.
The brain was like, I'm tired.
Yeah, but you can't just do anything and be like, I'm just gonna do it and see what happens. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of have to go full in, but go full in with what you have. Like, don't just wait for you to have the best technology and the best guests and the best clothes, the best environment to do something. No, you got to know that you want to do something before you get all those things, before you invest all your savings in something. Do you actually want to do it, or is it going to be another waste of time?
Exactly.
Because I used to be that type of person.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't used to be that type of person, but I knew if I didn't want to do something, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
That's how I was in college.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to do it. Like,
yeah.
I knew I needed this class for whatever I wanted to do at the time or whatever my path was, but I didn't want to do it. And I'll just look at the work and I'll be like, I do not want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time doing something that I really don't desire to do. But when it comes to other things, it's like how spontaneous we were with this interview right now. Like, it's something that I wanted to do. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. I'll draw 40 minutes. Let's go do this. Like,
yeah.
I'm doing it like I'm getting paid to do it. So that's just, a whole process in that.
No, 100%. And sorry, I'm being honest. I'm just making sure I'm logged on to something.
No, you good.
But I agree, man. I think that passion. I think Solomon said, "Though it costs you all you have, get wisdom, get understanding." And I think it's because he realized that, like, once you have wisdom and understanding, everything else, even the money, will come and follow. And once you find your passion, whatever it is, that's when all the other opportunities will happen. But again, it's like a farmer. You plant. My favorite fruit is mango, but mangoes take time to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what tree, plant, fruit it has a season of just sun and nothing is there. And you're like, bro, when is it going to actually, you know what I'm saying? But that's just the time that it takes in order for something to happen miraculously or to grow from the ground or etc. And so again, I think that's just something that we got to realize or put together is that it's going to take time, but once you find that passion will order your steps and make it. That's one thing I want to say. Two, imagine, Josh, all the people you've interviewed. Again, they're your friends and people you've connected with. But if they all, within the next decade, become millionaires, you captured a moment of time before they were there to kind of show them that perspective. And then now this interview becomes so much more valuable because it's like, whoa, let me go meet so-and-so, Tyron, or you had Mr. Hendricks himself, the lawyer. Like you got a lot of people who are there, but then it's like capturing that right before that. That's one. And then two, the same thing goes for you is that, again, seeing the growth in yourself when, okay, this is the interviews I was doing, etc. But now when you're like, 60 minute high, it's a 60 minutes on Josh, you know what I'm saying? And like, what? You know what I'm saying? And it's all of that builds it. And even though you and I are still young and like we're still trying to make it, but I see the growth in you, coming from UGA as a freshman, to now where you are, it's like, oh no, he's definitely grown, not only just physically, but like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, etc. And I think that we forget that because the experiences, the weight, the patience, the challenges of life, not having money to buy a Chick-fil-A maybe, or just whatever issue you're going through, not having money to pay your rent, being kicked out, like going through a breakup, all those things make you better and create who you are. Because then when they meet you at 40, you're like, man, he just seems so put together. But there's so much that you haven't seen that happened in that moment. And so, again, it's a hard lesson. I say it confidently, like, yeah, that's good, but it sucks.
Yeah,
I think we got to acknowledge that. I think it sucks. It really does suck. But it pays.
Yeah.
It pays. If you can just wait long enough to see it, it pays. Like I remember in high school, I was studying to be valedictorian. I was going through all this, like, why am I doing this? But eventually later on, it pays. Because like when I applied to UGA, Georgia has like a rule that any valedictorian, salutatorian automatically gets in wherever they decide to go. Like not even. So I was like, dang, I was working so hard just for me, but it was nice to not have to stress about like, are they gonna let me in or not? Because it was automatic. It was written on my transcript, valedictorian. It's like, all right, that's it. And so the purpose is, I think, again, you have to put in certain work during certain seasons and it will pay off. And lastly, sometimes, like you said, it's not just about you, it's about others. But sometimes you are planting seeds that will grow into trees that will provide shade for those who are around you, but even those after you.
Right.
I am blessed sometimes when I meet older people, they look at me, they're like, is so-and-so your father? I'm like, yeah, that's my dad. Like, oh wow, like he's do this for me. He was this. He was a teacher. He was etc. And there's like an automatic connection between us. Like, yo, here's some money. Yo, here's a plate of food because of what my dad did long ago. And when I saw that, I said, you know what? I want to do the same thing. I want to plant seeds now that someone like, yo, did you know Ammishaddai? Like, is that your dad or is that your sibling or brother? And because of the goodwill that I planted, they will be able to be benefit. And that's happened to me on smaller scales of my siblings who are going to myself, same elementary school. Oh, so-and-so said that, you know, they were the student XYZ. So she's, you know, and they automatically have a friend. Or one of my friends from high school, she became a teacher. Now she's teaching my little sister at high school. And she's like, yo, she needs anything, I got you. Why? Because again, that connection that was made, which is a reminder. I'm not gonna curse on this live, right? But don't step on somebody else. Don't poop on someone else, no matter where they are in life, because you never know. Even if they don't become a big person, but they might know somebody who is a big person who can turn your life around. You can go to a job interview and that person is there working, and they're like, "Oh, you came to work here," and they tell you what's really good. That happened. I was a manager. We're interviewing someone to be a director. The guy shows up. I was kind of confident of him before. I had a little reservation, but I didn't know why. So he comes up there talking good. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. And then someone who at my job recognized me. Yo, what's up? How you doing? XYZ, cool, etc. And then after, he's like, yo, did y'all offer him the job? I was like, we're not decided yet. He's like, yo, do not. You know, like, let me tell you the real story. And it wasn't like out of pettiness, but he just said, like, this is his character, what he's done previously before. So it kind of helps set up the, you know, the story. So the point is, you get it already. Be patient. Take your time. It's bigger than you. It's not just about you, but also, again, like your passion. Study it. Get it. Learn it. And once you have it, man, it'll pay itself back. You put a lot of money into it, but it's not an empty hole where it's like, man, I'm doing nothing to this. Because eventually, if you get 1% better, Josh, over a year, that's 365%, right? Even if my money could grow 1% a day. At first, it starts out small, but bro, you know what I'm saying? Every year, it tripled because it's just 1%. So imagine we as humans, if we at least get 0.5% better a day, that's still 180%. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you can go down. Maybe if you go to a 0.25% a day getting better, by the time December 31st reaches, you would have at least reached 100% better. And that's, again, you multiply by years, you continue to improve. And so I think a lot of us do that and then we stop. Like, New Year resolution, yeah, I'm in it. And then once the third week of January, we're like, nah. Or February comes along, now we in love. Or, you know, like, we get so distracted. And then before the year, as we try to go hard real quick, but then we're like, all right, summer body's over. Let me just let it go, you know? And if we just would stay consistent, man, we'd make it. So.
Yeah, that's what consistency, I mean, that's always like the cliche answer, consistency. But I was going to say everyone doesn't really understand, but everyone does understand how hard it is to be consistent. Like, that's something that you have to do all the time, even when you don't feel like it. Like, obviously, you want to work out when it's convenient for you. The gym's right there. You don't got to work until 11 a.m. The gym's right. Yeah, you can walk over to the gym. You got your workout buddy. The sun feels good. But wait till it's the winter time, and now your job's saying, oh, no, you got to start coming in at 8. And the gym now is crushed down. So now the gym you got to go to is 10 minutes away or 15 minutes away. It's like, are you going to still be consistent despite the situation, despite the environment, despite what's going on at the time? Or are you going to allow that to, you know, change what you know you need to do?
Exactly.
So that's what it comes down to. So I have another question for you.
Of course.
So we see the shirt that you got on. Benchwarmer. Let's hear about it. We are on the bench. Tell me about it.
Ironic. They probably thought we planned this. So again, 2019 December, I'm like, God, I know where I want to be. I'm not there yet. I'm frustrated. Like, I know I want to achieve this. I want to be on the stage. I want to be great. Like, I feel a calling to be great. I don't know how to do it, but I know what it looks like when I'm there. But I'm stuck. I feel like I'm just on this bench. And then I was like, man, that'd be a good sermon maybe. What do you do when you're on the bench of life? That's what I was like. Okay, cool. And so then January comes 2020. I'm talking to a friend. She's like, yeah, I just came back from Cuba. And I wrote a book, and I'm writing a book. I said, what? And we're the same age at the time, like 23 years old. I'm like, dang, like, you just wrote a book at that. And something told me, the sermon that you have is not a sermon, it's a book. Turn it into a book. Like, it is. I'm like, oh, so it's a book. And so she inspired me. It's Julianne, a plumber, by the way, so I want to give her flowers. She inspired me to do it. I said, all right, so I'm going to write a book. But again, I was like, I'm in master's. It's my last semester. I got to graduate. So I'm like, all right, God, like, I'll write this book after I graduate. Like, let me focus and make sure I can pass my classes with a good GPA, and then I can do this. And I didn't know what I said or what I promised because, again, as I told you, I was ghosted from the job. But bro, I graduated May 2020 with no job, with no opportunity to do anything else. And I was unemployed for 7 months. For the rest of the year, I had no job. I was volunteering for a campaign. I was doing this, little dollars here and there. Maybe at church I was volunteering. They're like, hey, $50 here, or thanks for preaching, here's $75. Like small money. I appreciate it because it went a long way for me. But again, that's all that there was. And again, I'm blessed that my parents were taking care of me. But like I felt, I sucked. I was like, man, here I am, former SJ president, got 2 bachelor's degrees. Everyone thinks I'm a big deal. And what are you doing? Nothing.
Same
you know
boat.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts your ego and your pride. And so again, I told another friend about the book. I can write this book like Benchwarmer. And she's like, just call it, maybe, how about you call it Benchwarmer? What to do when you're on the bench of life. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the idea came to be. It's like, well, what do you do when you're on a bench like this? And you're sitting and you're watching other people be in the game of life. You're seeing someone else being that famous interviewer, that famous podcast, that famous whatever, tennis player, athlete, etc. You see them living your dream and you're not there and you feel like you're stuck. And what I felt during that time, as I said, I was unemployed. God purposely said, no, I don't need you to have a job, because if you have a job, you're going to miss writing this book and speaking from this place of what do you do when you feel stuck. Right. And the essence of the book is I've learned that there are things you can do while you're on this bench, Josh, that will change your life if you know it, if you practice it, if you prepare for it, so that when you get in the game, it'll make the effect that it needs to. Here's the example. I talk about it in my book. What's the difference between someone in the crowd, someone in the stands, and someone on the bench?
One person sitting, the other one standing.
Okay. But what if they're both sitting now?
You said someone in the crowd. Okay.
In the crowd. The stands,
okay, in the crowd. Okay, in the bench. The person on the bench is going to get in the game.
There you go. When we're watching basketball and we're yelling, we're screaming, that's all we can do. Yeah. We can try to hope he misses a free throw. But if he's practiced, he's consistent, he's going to make it.
Right.
But the person on the bench, even though they're a bench warmer, they could be the last string or number 15 on the basketball team. And like, I'm never going to get in. But eventually, one day, they'll get in the game. And when they get in the game, it changes.
Yeah.
If they were paying attention on that moment. And what I've learned is that sometimes God places you on the bench. You have different seasons of your life or different areas of life that you're on the bench watching. Everyone's married. I'm not married yet. Everyone's dating. I'm not dated. Everyone has a job. I don't have a job. But you're on this bench. But this is the time that you can kind of watch and see what works, what doesn't work, what makes a healthy relationship, what doesn't. How do you demand a salary? Like, you learn all these skills while you're on the bench, while you seem as a nobody or undercover, so that when the coach says, all right, you're in, you can step in there and not just be in there for a little bit, but you can be there knowing what to do. Because also, Josh, a lot of people get off the bench into the game and they're a one-hit wonder. It's just one song, or it's just a one season playing basketball and then something happens. Like you said, you were hinting at it earlier, Ja Morant, not knowing how to handle the gifts and talents that he had allowed his character and his behavior kind of mess up his ability to, make money. And nothing against him, but like when you realize how he grew up in his areas, he didn't have mentors. He just was gifted at basketball, could jump out the gym, and that's what paid him and brought him here. But no one taught him how to manage his money, how to live, how to do certain things. And so again, that bench season is so worth it. It's so crucial because it makes a difference. And then another last example is that LeBron James and Ammishaddai, we watch basketball differently. I watch it, I could tell you, oh yeah, man, he had so many points and man was dunking and good defense. I could try my best, but LeBron James, when he watches the game of basketball from the bench and watches reruns, he can tell you who had the ball, what possession, what team they're running. I mean, he's going to be a phenomenal coach when he coaches, God willing, right?
If he chooses that route.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he would then continue. But the point is that he knows what to watch for while he's on the bench. And again, when you're on the bench, whatever area of your life, know how to watch. Again, know how to look and to maneuver to see what are some good things to pick up, what are some bad things to let go of, like how to move in that space. If you want to be a speaker like me, I watch Obama, I watch Bill Clinton. They are two different types of people, both became presidents, but their speech was what made them popular. But they have different styles. And so, yes, you can be the very Obama-esque, but Clinton had a very way of like explaining complicated things, make it simple. People laugh, enjoyed it. Reagan is another example. So if you don't care about the party's ideologies, just watch how they move and how they talk. It makes a difference. And again, it just makes a difference. And so anyways, the book is called Benchwarmer, What to Do When You're on the Bench of Life. I wear the shirt because it kind of reminds me like, hey, I'm proud to be a bench warmer. And what I've learned lastly is that instead of trying to rush out the bench, sometimes the bench is the best place to be because you're protected, you're watching, you're growing. And then when you will get in the game, because you will, man, you can be the best father, you can be the best husband, you can be the best whatever it is that you want because you're learning how to do that. So that's where the thought comes from.
That's great. The link will be in the bio, so look out for that. Or is it bio, description?
Yeah.
One of those. Okay, so I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
What is something that the more that you take, hold on, what is it? Whoa. Brain freeze, milkshake. The more of these that you take, the more that you leave behind.
The more that you take, the more you leave
behind.
The more you leave behind. It sounds like time.
The more time that you take, the more you leave behind.
The more
sounds good, but wrong answer.
It's like a riddle.
I don't call them riddles. I call them life lessons in joke form.
The more you take,
the more you leave behind.
Food, like internally your body, and it leaves behind.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Don't describe that one.
Yeah.
Well, the answer to that is footsteps. The more footsteps you take, the more you leave behind. So on this life, this journey that we take, the more footsteps that you leave, or the more footsteps that you take, walking throughout your life, the more that you leave behind for others to either follow or learn from. You know, I try to turn a joke into a lesson, and it kind of works.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Well,
I'll use that. I'll quote you.
Yeah, go ahead and quote. So thank you guys for listening to another episode of Paid in Passion. Let your passion work for you.